We're here at the end of December at the training centre for the British Rowing Olympic team. And I'll tell you why after I get done with today's testing.
Okay, ready? That's great, check it there. Hold on. 20, get yourself ready. And paddle.
And now we're in the boatways, getting the boat weighed, making sure everyone's boat is at a standard. There's a minimum weight, I think it's 14 kilos, but I've got the camera attachment on the boat, so I have to take that off, but it's bolted on, so I have to get that, but I just need a 10 mil. But it's trying to do that while out of breath and tired. Oh. And that is the first part of the December trials. Hello, Yamsquad. Welcome to another episode. Yes, we're at December trials. I've been invited to take part at December trials after the relatively positive result at November trials. So December is an invite-only trial in the British trials process. So positive to even be here and be invited. The format of the trial is 2K, spend 2K, which I've just done, and then that places you for finals tomorrow, the next day for side-by-side 2K. Just finished up weighing my boat. It's supposed to be a minimum of 14 kilos, it was above that, so that's good. Good to have a standard and make sure no one's trying to get away with anything a bit untoward. The piece itself today, I think overall positive. It was positive in that the technique I wanted to do, I wanted to be relatively sharp on the front without kicking it or without hanging. I think I did better letting the boat finish off, or letting the stroke finish without cutting off and losing energy, which I think paid dividends in the headwind portion of this 4K. Probably not as on it as November trials. I felt like that one I attacked really hard, obviously blew up a quarter of the way in, but this one, maybe because it didn't blow up, it didn't feel as punchy, but is that better than blowing up a quarter way through? We will see. So for now, resting up, warming down, getting some food, because remember, food is fuel for tomorrow's pieces, 2K side by side. So I'll see you after, see the results. And I have parked a bit close to that car. So, I think this is third, fourth attempt at trying to chat about my thoughts post-piece. 14th place today. Not where I wanted to be at all. In theory, there should be more people of a higher standard at this trial, because the Olympians that raced in Paris don't do November trials, and then they race in December. So in theory, you would think they'll be faster, so you push down the list. Comparing myself to the people that did race November and today, I was sort of down the ranks a little bit. So a little bit disappointed in that respect. And I think the result itself kind of matches how I felt the piece went before I knew the result. So I mentioned just not having quite that I'm not sure what word to use to describe it, but just that sort of snappiness, freshness, eagerness, not quite sure, just that, like, okay, I'm pushing really hard every stroke and feeling maybe confidence could be the word. So ended up, I think that's a result of me wanting to pace it better. So in November, it's a 5K, I was second to the first half after blowing up around the K in that 5K, and then 17th to the second half. So I was trying, okay, this is a 4K with a spin in the middle, I want to pace it better and sort of keep going well, but being a longer piece, sort of anything from 16 to 20 minutes depending on conditions, it's about averages rather than going really fast kind of thing. So if you do a really fast average at the start and sort of hold on, that's going to do you better than if you just set a slower average. So today I just sat at that slightly slow end of the average. Results wise, I wasn't that far off, similar to November. I was sort of people that were racing at November, the top person today, I was about 10 seconds, I think, back on, if I remember correctly, and today I was about 20 seconds back. So not ideal in that respect. But if we make that adjustment and say that same difference between us, I go into sort of 5th or 6th place, which puts me in a good place, but obviously that's not what happened. And if shoulda, coulda, wouldas. So I think for today, performance-wise, I went too far the other way. I tried to pace it, and I paced it well, as in relative to everybody else. It was kind of flat and then slightly faster at the end. It wasn't like I did a massive drop at the end. I just fully would have rather had today a first K or so of pushing, and then holding on. But then again, if you spoke to me before the race, it's probably not what I would have wanted. So positives in the way that, okay, I tried something different and I did that something different and I felt like I rode okay. Like I said, the technical aspects of it were okay, just wasn't quite fresh, sharp enough. So we can take that to tomorrow. And as well, I think it's good to, if I come off the water and think, okay, in November I felt it was good and the results were decent. Today I felt like the results were, or the piece wasn't so good and the result wasn't so good. So the things are starting to match up rather than thinking that was the best piece I've ever done, and then coming off the water, and then the results are horrid. So I guess that's a positive. We are the boat feel is getting there where I'm like, okay, that's not good enough. That is good enough. I'm kind of figuring out how that feels, but still trying to figure out how to feel that and adjust on the fly in the piece rather than sort of at the end or post piece kind of thing. So we're always learning, of course, but it is frustrating to. So I had that November. I was like, okay, that's a good confidence builder, and then today, it just not quite. I didn't come off the water and think, oh well, like even regardless of position, I don't think I could have done anything better. Today it was, oh, I could have done better there, and obviously the result reflected not ideal. So moving on, tomorrow is a side-by-side racing. I'm not sure how or who I'll be racing against. We've got the results, of course, but it could be, there's 7 lanes, there's scheduled A to D finals, so it could be 5 people in each final or 4s and 6s and whatever. So waiting on the sort of everyone to select of, okay, it's going to be 5 people here, 4 people there, 5 people there, whoever it ends up being. But who we race doesn't really matter. It's about going as fast as I can go, and hopefully tomorrow with the side-by-side racing, that feeling of pacing is a bit easier to judge, and using today as a guide or as a not fuel, as something to step on from, and again, just using each opportunity as a learning experience to be able to say, okay, November, not paced well. Today, again, not paced well, but in a different way. And then tomorrow we try and find that almost Goldilocks zone of thinking, okay, that was paced really well. But it is side by side, like I said, so it's a little bit easier to gauge that. So for now, we continue to fuel up and we rest, we recover for tomorrow. It's just 1 2K race flat out, as fast as we can go. Looking forward to it. Not done a side by side race in quite a while. So see how we get on then.
Good morning, Yamsquad. I'll tell you what, we've arrived here at Caversham a little bit earlier than yesterday. Up at roughly the same time before racing, but feeling a lot more awake. Trying to figure out particularly why, but it doesn't matter. We're here today. Got my food this morning, because remember, food is fuel. Going to hop onto the water for a little bit of warming up before the warm-up. Then we get ready to race. A little bit of side-by-side. The people I will be racing, so it's going to be a 4-boat final in the sea final, and it's good competition. So I'm looking forward to getting on the water and seeing how I can do compared to them. They all raced at November, so let's see how we get on. I'll probably just start. I'll not film the warm-up before the warm-up, but basically I'm going to go on the water in the single, do a couple of loops, do a couple of bursts, get off the water in the single, then continue to fuel up. We've now got just over 3 hours till the race, so let's get to it. And they're off the water post warm-up before the warm-up. I didn't take the camera out because I thought it would be too dark, but I forgot we're down south, so it lights up pretty quickly. Usually back home we're still in darkness, but I had a lovely sunrise paddle out here in the water at Caversham, and just trying to kind of figure out what the conditions might feel like. It kind of feels like a little bit of a tailwind, but most likely going to be a bit crossy. Regardless, going to go out, push hard for the first K and see what goes on. Similar to what I was doing for Met and Marlow for last year, just kind of getting to the K and assessing how we get on. Not going out to empty the tank at the K, but more so set yourself up, be confident, go and put yourself in a good position, so that then you can go from there. But that's kind of the plan. And for me, there's not really anything to lose per se, because I came 14th yesterday. If I go out and come last today, still 14th. If I go out and do really well, best I can do is 10th overall, but there can be a little bit of comparisons with times, but with different times of actual races, that's not really what anyone would really look at. They might look at gaps between people, which that's what I'll probably look at. I'm trying to look at the gaps between November, yesterday and today, and basically today looking to see if I can improve on the gap from yesterday to today, over 2K rather than 4. All right, time to get on the water and get racing.
We've got 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Okay guys, we'll get going now. Make sure you're in the middle of the lane. 5 is good. 4, let it rest a little bit. 3, bring it up a touch. 2 is good. 5, hold it. 5, hold it. 4, 3, 2, come up. A quarter canvas. Yeah, together very quietly. 5, hold it. 3, hold it hard. 3, hold it hard. 1 and 4, come up a bit. 1 and 4, touch up. 1 and 4, touch up a little bit. 1 is good. 4 a little bit. Hold it hard. All 3 hold it. Attention. Go.
made it. Yeah, it's very good. Okay, we go again. All right. Oh. Well, Yamsquad, we've made it off the water post side-by-side racing in the single, and I think that was better. Overall, not the so that means a second in that final, so going off of results you can say I was 11th overall, just based on pure results, which that part is a bit frustrating on paper. That's disappointing, but that race itself much better. That's kind of that springiness, intensity, freshness that I wanted to bring yesterday that wasn't there. Not kind of figured that out myself. Like I said earlier, I woke up this morning feeling like it was there, rather than I woke up yesterday morning just a bit lethargic. And yes, I did a pre-paddle this morning, but it was pre that I felt that I was already ready. If that makes sense. So yeah, that's something to look at, think about later on. For now, assessment of that race, pretty solid. Went off the start and I was pretty happy with the first 10 or so, and then I saw that, I'm not sure if the people want to be in the videos or not name wise, so the person that won the race took off, sent it. I looked down at my stroke coach, looked down at the speeds, and I was seeing high 130s, so 137, 138 for the first 100, 200, and I thought, there's no way I can sustain that. And in my head, I'm thinking, if he tries to sustain that, he will blow up. So I didn't back off, but I went on to, okay, done my first 200, 250, onto my strong pace that I'm thinking, that springiness, that freshness, not necessarily looking for the split per se, more so looking up for that effort. So backed off of the effort slightly, still keeping it strong. Then settled into a rhythm, started walking away from the other two. So I was like, okay, I'm in a good place, but I'm not walking away too fast to think, oh, that's too much of a pace. But unfortunately, I wasn't really gaining on the person in front of me. So good and bad, but it's going back into it. It's my race. I'm in my lane. I can only do my speed. So feeling confident in the speed I was holding. I think I was around 45s, 46s for a good portion, just focusing on getting to the next 250, getting to the next 250, getting to the K. Because at Caversham here, it feels like the first K is longer than the second K. It isn't, but it just feels like that, just how the landmarks are. So when you get to the K mark, the 750 comes up quite quickly because you've got like the distraction of the boathouse in the middle, and then 750. So got to the K feeling like, okay, I can push on slightly. So instead of me, I'm already pushing hard. So instead of me pushing harder, I wanted to be a bit more fluid. So I mean, the rate only came up maybe half a pip or so, but I wanted to make it a bit more fluid, a bit more flowy. I'm not sure how to describe that, but that seemed to impact the split and a little bit more efficient, or it felt like that. So for the next few hundred or so, I kept on that kind of idea. Okay, I was fading, okay, fluid. I was fading, okay, fluid. Keep it going, keep it going. Keep the boat tapping along. The split was fading slightly, high 40s, low 50s roughly, and then just that, keeping it fluid, would back it down a couple splits. And then as we're coming through the last 750s to 500, one of the guys on the left was gaining on me. I still wasn't really, I felt like I was holding the guy in front. I couldn't quite break him and move onto him very well, at least that's what it felt like. But the guy next to me was slowly creeping up on me, and now I'm thinking, yeah, about 600 or so. I'm thinking, right, there's still quite a long way to go till the finish, 2 minutes-ish. I'm not 100% confident on my ability to go from here, so I'm going to maintain a good positive push on the legs and see what happens. So he just gradually sort of approached me, gradually came, we were about side by side, he maybe even pushed his bow ball in front around about 350, maybe closer to 250, and there was a shout from Obi, his first senior trial. He says, yeah Cam, yeah Yamsquad. And although obviously it doesn't really necessarily mean anything, but it just gave me that little bit of, I'm here, embrace the opportunity and just go for it. So around that 250 or so, we're probably around even, and just gave it some, yes, I was pushing hard. So this time I was like, well, 250 to go, take 10 strokes. So pushed harder and tried to make it a little bit longer. Split started to come down, took 10 strokes, thinking, okay, I think I'm around 150 to go. Take another 10, and the split keeps coming down, and now I'm walking pretty strong away from the guy that was approaching me. So I'm feeling the confidence is building. And then I was thinking, okay, there's not many strokes left to count, but I look around and there's probably more than 10 strokes left. So just get to the finish line and try and move away, and maybe try and gain on the guy that won, and did keep pushing, so that was good, kept pushing along. Unfortunately came second, well, positive and negatives on that, but I felt like that was a good overall race. The guy that did win, I think, I'm not 100% sure, I need to speak to him and get some official dates, but I think it's not his first season, but it's very close. So it's really good to see guys that haven't been rowing for too long go really fast, and getting to compete against them and see, like, a little bit of humbling on my part. Obviously I've been rowing for a long time, so if you've got guys coming through that are really fast, you have to maintain that progress. You can't just sit, well, I've got more experience, therefore I should be faster. And as well, he's really strong, really fit, so I think he did a high 140s faster than my PB on the 2K on the erg, so it's good to see strong on the erg, strong on the water, and hopefully going into his second, third, fourth season he can keep that progression, so good luck with that. And for me, it's just that little bit of, like I said, it's like an inspiration for me. He's not rowing for that long, hasn't been rowing for that long, so, and he's still improving like this. And so why can't I, maybe not improve that fast, but why can't I keep pushing, keep improving as well? So thanks for that little bit of inspiration. Maybe a little bit of a kick up the backside as well here today. I'll see how the times compare overall. I think I forgot to record the actual splits, but I think that was around about 7:10, maybe. I'll get the scores after I've cooled down, fueled up, and maybe watched the last couple of finals. But yeah, been a good weekend, and this is what I wanted December to be, like today, not like yesterday. It's overall been a good training weekend. Not the best sort of comparison, I didn't quite represent myself, I felt like, well, yesterday, but today that was better. And ultimately I was invited here as more of a beach sprinter rather than a flat water rower, so using it as part of the process over the next few years. So there is that side of things. I'm not 100%, okay, if this goes not so well, then everything's out the window. But obviously I still want to go fast on flat water, so it's a mixed bag of emotions. So I'll have just maybe a little bit of a chat post finding out the results and the times for the other races, but as always, everyone's race is different, conditions change, so it doesn't really matter, but it's always good to see. All right, we've made it in to the van, and all the races are done. Boats on the roof. It's time to head home on the roughly 7-hour journey, and obviously we've got to fuel up because remember, food is fuel. So I've said a lot already about how the race felt, how the race went. I think it was a good representation of what I was doing today. Obviously it could always be better. A little bit on the side of, as I think about it more physiology wise, I think we need to do more work, which is fine. We can always get fitter, and that's what I kind of know how to do that. Just trying to figure out how we keep on progressing. Times wise, which obviously the finals are different and you can't quite, sometimes people compare the times between finals, sometimes people don't, but at the very least, so I did 7:11, which used to be my PB. It's my fastest that I've ever went here at Caversham, so that's a positive.
maybe. I suppose it depends on the conditions anyway. It's not super fast, but it's fast for December conditions. It's a little bit cold. We had a little bit of a tailwind. But 7-11 puts me, I think it was ahead of people in the B final, ahead of people in the A final. So middle of the pack up there, and probably representative of my November results. So kind of that. Obviously it's big ifs, and I came 11th overall and it was second in the C final. But times wise, if you wanted to compare, puts me top 10 per se, if you wanted to compare them. Which I think that's, if I did the better yesterday and came away with that result, that's kind of where I would thought to put myself, kind of thing. So maybe around similar to that 7th place that I came in November, but with additional people. I think that would be better. But again, did what I did yesterday, not ideal, bit better today, and attacked it a bit better. So taking that forward into the next portion, there's going to be crew boat testing going on here. I am in the sort of beach sprint group per se, so I won't be part of the crew boat testing. That's for the flat water group. I would actually quite like to go into whether it's a pair or a double for that testing, just to see, but obviously you have to perform well enough to do that and be in a different group. But for now, I've got a little bit, 2 or 3 weeks of training, and then we've got 2 or 3 weeks of testing that we'll be doing in January for to gather more data for the British Rowing Beach Sprints Olympic cycle team sort of thing. So things are kind of moving in that direction with beach sprints, but don't fear, Yamsquad. It doesn't mean I won't be doing any flat water racing, because I really believe that doing flat water rowing helps with the coastal rowing and vice versa. Coastal boats, the beach sprints are really helping me, whether it's move my body better, get a better technique, or just kind of build confidence. And same thing, in the flat water, it actually, because the boats are obviously lighter, runs better, it can sort of take the pressure off you a little bit of like when you're actually rowing, you can row longer distances, etc., whatever. But that is it for today's episode of Yamsquad. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Not quite the video I wanted to make. I wanted to have maybe a more positive outcome, but as always, it's a journey, a process. This weekend was, the result wasn't what I wanted, but it was the sort of opportunity that I wanted. I wanted to come down here and race, and that's what I did. Especially today, went out there and raced. Even just having people come closer in the race and actually deciding, I can let you past, or I can fight you side by side and see. I wouldn't have had that opportunity if I wasn't invited. So I appreciate being invited here, and it does help. Just motivation for training, if nothing else. But we have got a little bit of a kick in the butt for the next block of training, whether it's flat water, beach sprints, whatever it is. And again, that's what I was aiming for, helping that bit of motivation, a little bit of variation, because it is, of course, one of the keys to motivation. And now, it is time to go. So hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. If you didn't, let me know in the comments below why not. If you did see any technical improvements, I definitely know there's things I can improve on. And probably you'll be able to see. I'm not sure if the camera angle kind of throws it off a little bit. Hit that like button if you haven't already, and subscribe if you haven't already too. I'm trying to do a few different types of videos, different ideas, flat water rowing, coastal rowing, rowing related, whatever it is. Let me know in the comments below what you would like to see. If you did make it to this point in the video, I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next opportunity, whether it's going fast on flat water, fast on the beach, whatever it is. We'll see you there.